सुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Okay. So guys, we are doing this class. It's a sacred class, right? We're talking about God here. So I want your attention a little bit here. Let's sit. Let's not eat while in the class. We don't sleep in the class. We sit. We don't do other things. Concentrate for 1 hour, right? So it's better. Online kids also take it as a sacred, like you are sitting in a temple and taking this class, right? So I want you to make sure to understand that we are we are talking about God here, right? We are talking about a whole sacred life, a part of our life. So better we not do anything other things and sit properly and take it as like how we go in front of the highest person, like the most chief guest comes in our life. What do? We clean our house, right? If somebody is special coming to our house, what do? We clean our house. We wear proper clothes. We are very we look nice. Our surrounding look nice. We don't do other things while we are that guest is coming, right? So think about that. We do so much for a little guest who is coming to our house. Think about it. The God we are talking here, like who has created the whole entire universe, who has created everything. We're talking about the super guest. So let's take that as a as such an important time that we have this 1 hour that we are connecting to God in this 1 hour, right? So let's take this class as a really sacred place that we are for the whole week. We this time we are dedicating to God, right? So Dadaji used to say that this is an appointment with God. This 1 hour is the appointment with God. So let's use this appointment very well, right? So let's start with the meditation first, and then we will go in reciting the shloks. Okay, let's have a position of meditation. Close our eyes and let's chant Om, right? So let's start. Om. let's recite our 12th chapter. Is ready? Okay. Arjunuvacha evam satatayuktaye bhaktya sampariyupasate ye chapakshara vyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamam. Shri Bhagavan uvacha maya veshamano ye mam nityayukta upasate shraddhaya pariyopetas te me yuktatamamata ye tvaksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra samagamtyam cha kutastam machalam dhruvam sanniyam yendriyam gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutete rata kleshodikatarastesham paryuktam sattvachetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadviravapyate yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matpara ananyeneva yogena madhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudarta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam mayi vamanadhasva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasi mayeva ata urdhavna samshaya ata chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mayi stira abhyasa yogena tato mamik chantum dhananjaya abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhyamavapyasi athetaphya shaktoshi kartu madyogamashita
sarva karma phala tyagam tata kuru yatatmavan
shreyo hi jnana abhyasaj jnanam dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagat
chantiranantara
adveshta sarvabhutanam metrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirankara samadukha sukhashami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchaya mayarpitar mano buddhir yo
Madbhakta
samay priya yasmano dvijate loko lokano dvijate chaya
harsha
Shabayo dvegir mukto ya sacha me priya anapeksha suchir daksha udasino gatavyatha sarvarambha parityagi yo mad bhakta same priya yo na hishyati na dveshti na sochati na kankshati shubha shubha parityagi
bhakti manya same priya sama shatro cha mitre cha
तथा मानापमानयो शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु
samasanga
विवर्जितः तुल्य निन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्ट येन केनचित् अनिकेत स्थितर्मध्ये भक्तिर्ममे प्रियो नरः
ये tu dharmyamatamidam yatoktam paryupasate shraddadana parama bhaktaste me priya.
Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadasho Adhyaya. Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay. Awesome. So we are coming back to our chapter number 6, right? Okay. And anybody know which shlok? Which shlok? 10, 9, 8, 9, 11. Are we on 11?
11 and 12.
11 and 12? I thought we haven't done the ninth finish. We didn't finish the ninth, right? We just talk about ninth. We read the ninth, but we didn't do the ninth completely. So we are on ninth. You remember? So very close, Ali. We just have to finish ninth and 10th before we move on. क्या चाहिए कृष्ण तेरे को? I can give you. Okay. So we were studying sixth chapter, which is meditation, and today I'm going to tell you whatever we are doing in meditation, that's wrong. So we will get the right correct method practice today. But before that, let's talk about the in 8th shlok, right, that we did last week. He talked about that how yogi treats the objects around him. Like the person who is ready for meditate, first of all, who is ready to meditate, has already done what? Has already done what yoga he has already been doing for long. Then he can jump on meditation. What was that? What he should have already done? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah, Rajalia.
Karma yoga?
Karma yoga, right? Perfect. The person who would have already done the karma yoga, that's where he is coming. So that becomes the person who is want to do meditation but do it meditation without doing karma yoga cannot do the meditation right? So we have to do, the foundation is karma yoga should be done. Now, what did we say, that how this yogi who is have done karma yoga, ready to do meditation, how does he takes the object around him, right? That was the the 8th shlok we talk about. So what did we talk about? That if there is a gold or there is a mud or a stone, all these three things he takes it as same. He views as same. Nothing going to increase his value, nothing going to decrease his value. So for us, what happens is, I was talking about the gold thing, right? When we have a gold necklace or a fancy car, we want to, put the necklace outside and everybody should see the necklace, how pretty the necklace is, right? So what happens when we wear that necklace, we think our values is increased. So our value is depending on that necklace that we are wearing, right? That car we are driving, right? Our value depends on the car. If we are driving a fancy car, then our value is increased, right? That's what we think, right? Now, on the contrary, when a person has done the karma yoga and doing the meditation, these things doesn't give him a value, right? He is not dependent on that gold necklace to show his value. He is not dependent on the fancy car to show his value. So for us to get to that level, it is long road for us to reach there. But we can take baby steps right now, right? So this yogi, for him, the object doesn't give him the value, right? His soul that he is concentrating in, that gives him value, not the objects around it. For objects around him, he takes it that everything is similar for him. It doesn't make a big difference if he has a gold in his hand or if he has a stone in his hand, right? So remember that. Now we move on to shlok number 9, which we actually, we started it, right, Krishu?
Yeah.
And we already know the meaning of all the words. So, right, Alia Raja? Did you write the meaning of all the words? Okay. So, Krishu, can you start read the shlok first and then? Can you read the shlok 9th?
Yeah. Takes a little while.
Sana, you want to read it, Raja? Krishu is taking too long.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, number 9?
Number 9, yes.
Okay.
Surmitrarya udasina.
Suhyamitrarudasina
Madhyastha dveshya bandhushu.
Madhyastha dvesha bandhushu
Sadoshu api cha papeshu.
Sadhushyapi cha papeshu
Samabuddhir vishishyate.
Samabuddhir vishishyate. Very good. All together. Syuhamitrarudasina Madhyaste dvesha bandhushu Sadhushvapi cha papeshu Samabuddhir vishishyate. Okay, so here now God is going to explain us how these yogis who are at that level, which I already explained, they treat other relationship with the human, with how they treat other people, right? So in this slok, he has talked about 9 relationship, right, as I mentioned it to you. So if we look at all the words one more time so you guys know everything. So Syuh is a good-hearted person, right? The first word Syuh is a good-hearted person. Then Mitra is a, anybody in online? Mitra is, who is Mitra? What is the meaning of Mitra? Anybody can tell?
Like a friend.
Friend, yeah. So Mitra is friend. Then Ari is an enemy, right? Then next word is Udasina. Udasina means indifferent. The person that doesn't get both sides, like Udasina. Madhyastha, the person that comes in the middle of a fight where he is actually trying to get the harmony, right? So Madhyastha is the person who is like not from both sides, but he wants to make a harmony between both the parties. Then Madhyastha, then Dvesha. Dvesh means hatefulness. Have you written all that words? Okay. Then Dvesh, which I said hatefulness. Then Bandhush. Bandhu is relatives, right? Then Sadhu. Sadhu is like the person who is very righteous. Then Papeshu. Papeshu means the person who is unrighteous, right? Samabuddhir visheshyate. Samabuddhya means having equal, what?
Equal intellect.
Yeah, Samabuddhi means having same intellect. And then Vishishyate means excel. Vishishyate means excel in that. So now let's get the whole meaning together. So what it is, Krish, this is a secret place. I just said it, right? So no must. He who has equal regards for the good-hearted, friend, vow, indifferent, neutral, hateful, relative, righteous and unrighteous, he excels. Now what it is, like it's a lot of things going on in this shlok, right? You will say, what too many things, too many different things. So now we will take one at a time and explain how. These are the 9 relationships that everybody has in their life. No matter who is there, everybody has these 9 kind of relationship in their life, right? The first is good-hearted. You will always have somebody who is good-hearted to you. It could be anybody that is even, giving you a smile in the morning, right? Or when you are walking, opening a door for you. Or you don't even know and they are, doing you favor without you knowing it, right? So good-heartedness, even if you are driving a car, somebody gives you away. That's a good-heartedness, right? So we always get these kind of people in our life. They are good-hearted and they always do us a favor, right? Even if we are going through a bad day and somebody says, somebody comes and smile at us and give a big smile to us, that changes our attitude. So that's a good-heartedness, right? Then we have friends, right? So we know that everybody has friends, right? So we have those friends. We have some enemies too. Not sure that you don't like them, but there are some people who will not like you, right? So there are some enemies that going to be there. But again, you make sure that there could be some people who don't take anybody as enemy, but there are people that they are taking the other person as enemy, right? Then we have indifferent people. It doesn't matter to them what we do or what we don't. They still, come with us. So there are indifferent people. There are then people who wants to always calm two parties down, right? And every house has this person, right? Even a little fight happens between siblings. Mom and dad comes and try to madhyastha, means come to resolve the fight between you two. So that is a role of mom and dad, to come middle and stop the fight between you guys. Then there are people who are hateful. You might be hateful to somebody, or somebody would be hateful to you. That relationship also exists. Then there are relatives, right? There are many relatives that we have. So that relationship is also there in everybody's life. Then there are some righteous people that we come across, and then there are some unrighteous people that also we come across. So all these 9 people, everybody comes across. Now this yogi who come across these 9 different kind of people, they treat them equally. Riya Raja, Alia.
What and what?
9th one is unrighteous. So all of them, they treat equally. Now you will say, okay, and they treat equally. Those person can excel in meditation. That's what the shlok means, right? Everybody is treated equally that can excel on meditation. Now what happens is, when we talk about this, that let's take couple relationships so we can understand what does treat equally means, right? It's not that everybody is being treated equally, but the biggest thing that you should be learn out of this shlok, which let me explain the relationships first, then we will talk about how you should learn what to do and what not to do, because you cannot treat everybody equally, right? If somebody is very hateful to you, you cannot treat equally to that person, right? If somebody is very good friend to you, you cannot ignore that person, right? So you have to have some distinction, but how? What should you do, right? So let's talk about that. Now you do definitely need people who criticize you, right? That's what makes you better. You know that, right? So if people are hateful to you and they criticize you, sometimes it's good that you get to know, or you push yourself to become more better, right? That pushes you. Then there are people who are related to you, that comforts you. Relatives are there to comfort you. Then there are people who are enemy to you. They are there to make you, again, they make you better. Now unrighteous people tells you what should you not do, right? Righteous people in your life tells you what you should do, right? So every person in your life has something that will taught you to become a better person, right? So if you take it that way. Now I can take it different way too. I will say, okay, this person is my enemy. He is getting mad at me, so I'm going to get mad at him too. So then you didn't learn anything out of it, right? If this is unrighteous person, he does that way. He doesn't, this my friend, he doesn't listen to his parents. He does whatever he wants to do. So I have to do that too, right? Now what you did is, you had unrighteous people that were teaching you what not to do. But what did you do? You learned what to do from them, right? So again, that's very important for us to understand how should we be doing. Like the biggest thing in this is friendship, right? So for kids and for people, there are a lot of people when we are growing up. Let's talk about you guys. I will talk about myself again, but for you guys, I would say there are 3 people that influence you a lot. A lot. The first are your parents. Definitely you are growing up with them. Every day you are seeing them. So you are very, very influenced by your parents. Then teachers, sure. And what are the third ones? What are your third ones? Nanu, what are the third ones? Who influence you the most? Krish,
Your friends.
friends.
I was gonna say that.
How cute.
I was gonna say the people around me.
Yeah, around you means your friends, right? So teachers, friends, and your parents. Those are the three. Definitely, there are role models that influence you a lot, which are far, far away. But still, these are the three people that influence you the most, right? Now, friends. Friends, what happens is God in Krishna Bhagavan in Gita itself says, a little definition about the friends. Friends are the people who you want to do something which does not influence by selfishness, right? You want to do something selflessly for somebody, you would like to do selflessly for your brother, you would like to do selflessly for your mother, for your father, for your siblings. That is your immediate family. But the person that from outside your family, you want to do something selflessly without even expecting anything out of it, without any selfish motive, that person is your friend. So think about it. If a person who you want to do something without any selfish motives, that person is your friend. That's what Krishna Bhagavan said in Gita, right? So he said very well definition about who are your friends, right? So now what happens is sometimes we do, if I talk to you, think about it 1 second. Any friend came in your mind that you want to do unselfish, or any particular person came in your mind with this category? Anybody came in your mind? First time what you start thinking is, whenever somebody asks you that any person came in your mind who is, who falls into this category of friendshipness, then what do you think? You start thinking whether that person does anything unselfishly for me. That comes in our mind the first. Did it came? Usually it's very rare it comes that what I did unselfishly for that person. Usually always it start thinking is like, oh, is my that friend will do anything unselfishly for me, right? Then that friend is my right friend. But first you should be thinking that, did I do something unselfishly for that person? Then I can be friend to that person, and then I can expect him to do the same, right? So first thing, this need to be in the mind. Now another big thing that we need to always remember in the friendship, what happens is, because this relationship influence lot in your life, so you guys have is that's why I'm dragging this one little more longer, because I want you guys to understand what is the real friendship is, right? Sometimes we do get into this trap that, okay, I have this friend or I don't have this friend, and we keep thinking about it. But the basic criteria goes into this place where people do any unselfish things for you, or you do for them, then that's the friendship, right? Now I will tell you one. There were two boys. They were going in the forest, walking along the forest, and some fight happened between both. They were very good friends, but there was a fight that, they got into a discussion, and then discussion went so far that one friend slapped the other one, right? So as soon as this friend slapped the other one, the person who got the slap, he wrote in the mud that my best friend gave me a slap today, right? And then they started walking. Then the conversation got mellowed down, and they went to a place where this person who got slapped got a big thorn in his foot, right? A big thorn went in his foot. So this other friend helped the thorn, pull the thorn out, and made him feel better, right? Then the guy put it on the stone. There was a stone. He said, my friend today helped me, my best friend helped me pull out a thorn from my foot. So then this other kid asked, hey, why did you write in the mud the first time when I slapped you? You said my best friend slept in the sand. And now this time when I helped you, you wrote on the stone saying that my friend helped me, made me feel better, right? So the answer was what? What was the answer for that? Why did he wrote first thing in the sand and the second thing on the stone? Yes, Anne.
Because like the stone is like kind of like permanent, and the sand like it like goes away or something.
Yeah, true. Very right. So what happened is, if you write in the sand, what happens? So what the friend was saying, I wrote it in the sand because there was something wrong to it, right? He slapped me, got upset, so he wrote in the sand. So the wind of forgiveness take that away, right? So in the friendship, you need forgiveness also. So the wind of forgiveness takes it away. But when somebody gives you a favor, somebody does something for you, write it in the stone. So that never washes off, right? That never goes away. Because what happens is, if somebody does good to you, you have to remember that all your life. That's why that was on the stone. And the thing that you can forgive people, that has to be in the sand. You have to forgive people and move on, right? So that's how the friendship stays also. You have to have a nerve of forgiving, and you have to have remember the things that they did for you, right? So that's another part that you have to think about when you are doing the friendship. Sometimes we think about the other way, like I will, oh wow, and I thought, how many times did we think, I thought that person was my friend, or I thought this girl was my friend, and I don't think so she could do that to me, but she did that to me, or he did that to me. So that question comes many times, right? Now what happens is, there might be a possibility that that person did not write that in the sand, right? He wrote the thing that went wrong on the stone, or you did that way, right? So now it is hard to forgive because it's written in the stone what the person did to you, or what they. So that's why what happens is, one more thing I will tell you. If somebody does wrong to you and you write it in the stone, what's going to happen is, part of your mind will be occupied with that all your life. It is occupied with you all your life, because there is something that you have written in the stone, you have never forgive it, right? The wind of forgiveness will not take that away. So remember that part, right? So that's that one thing. Then we were talking about what? So those are the relationship that I was saying, it's so important to have it. Now the same thing, if we look at it at, now let's go from the transactional world to a little bit higher world, right? We are studying spirituality here, so I want to make sure that we incorporate this one also. Like, how that many relationship, but taking them as the same, how do you do that? So if we take it as a spiritual level, what we say, that all human are made by the same God. They have the same blood that's going on. I have the same blood like them, right? The God had created that person too, who is my enemy, or who is my friend, or who is my good-hearted person, who is doing favors to me, or who is getting upset to me, or who is righteous, who is not righteous. God has made them too. They have the same blood. So let's, treat them well. So that's the Dvait part of, the duality part of spirituality. Now let's go a little bit more in the other side of, non-duality. Non-duality, what happens is, right? Vivekananda Swami said, whom to blame and whom to praise, when the blame and blamer and praise and praiser are none other than one consciousness, right? So there is nothing that you could do differently, because they all are one consciousness. So there is nothing that this person is going to be, I'm going to be, he hates me, or I hate you, or I don't like you, or I like you, or you are the best friend, or you are the best enemy for me. What to do with it? Because everybody is the same consciousness, then it doesn't matter, right? So if we go to the Advait level, it is, for us, it's very difficult at this time to think that way, right? So, but the time will come when we will have this realization, then we will have that part that we can understand as the same. But at this moment, let's talk about how can we utilize this shlok in the process of our transactional world, right? In the worldly sense. Now what happens is, one thing that the mindset, Shankaracharya said at one time, kaha kim karma iti avyapta kruta buddhi. So what does that mean? Who is doing what? Kaha kim karma iti, who is doing what, right? Then avyapta kruta buddha, keep unengaged in that thing, keep your mind unengaged. What is the other people doing? Who is doing what? You should not get engaged by it. In English, if I say mind your own business, right? In Sanskrit we say that long word, but in English we said mind your own business, right? Who is doing what and why they are doing it, it doesn't matter to us, right? We should have compassion to everybody. That's what matters. That's about it. What our actions are, that's what matters. We should have compassion, but everybody else do whatever they want to do. You should not worry about them. Hey, why is that person not coming? Why is that person not doing this? Why this friend is being selfish to me? Why this friend is being unselfish to me? Doesn't matter. What you are doing, that matters the most, right? Your action, that's what in your control. All the other things are not in your control, right? So we need to make sure that we don't worry about what other people are doing, right? Sometimes it comes across saying, oh, I'm doing the most of the work, right? That happens many times. Christian Sean always, when I ask them to do something, what they say, I'm doing all the work. Why are you not telling the other person? That comes across all the time, right? And I think sibling, and when we were little, we used to fight a lot too on this thing, that, oh, I'm working the most, I'm doing the most. And every person in the world, I will tell you, they will think that they are doing the most work. The other person is not doing the work. This is regular general tendency of feeling that way, right? That the human came with the default that I do everything, other people don't do anything, and I'm taking care of this thing, I'm taking care of this thing, and the other person is not doing that. Wrong way to think this thing, right? I will tell you one time, when I was a pharmacy supervisor, every pharmacy has two pharmacists, right? So one works and the other one is off, the other one works, so they are alternating the days. So they were, I go and meet one pharmacist, she kept on saying that everything I do, the other person doesn't do anything. When I go to meet other person, they used to say, I do everything, the other person is not doing anything. Like they got into so much blaming game that the pharmacy was doing very bad in customer service, and sometimes it was like prescriptions were not ready and stuff like that. So we were trying to figure out how to make that service better, how to make the prescription on time better. But they both were saying that the other person is not doing it. So I, after a lot of conversation, I said, what about this, that we actually gonna see what each other do when we are not doing anything, we are just standing in the pharmacy. We will see how the other person manages, and we have to, because they don't work together, right? One is present and one is not working that day, the other one is working, and so they don't come to see working from with each other. So what we realized, then they decided they will do that with me. So I went with one pharmacist, and then the other pharmacist was working, and me and the other pharmacist just sat in the back near the back door and just watched the pharmacy, how the pharmacy goes. So for initially you go in the pharmacy, everybody is know that you are there, and we, after a little while, 5-10 minutes, everybody forget, they get into their usual routine and they start working on it. So when they saw each other's work way, they were very different how they worked. One was very customer oriented pharmacist, so she leave all the job what she has to do, and she will just talk to the customer and talk a lot and do a very good service with the customer. The other person was very process driven, right? So the process should be right, the prescription should be ready, everything should go flawlessly. So they both have their own way to look at the pharmacy, right? The problem was why the pharmacy was going down, because they were not understanding that what was positive in each other. They were keep on looking at the negative side of the farm for each other, right? But when they got to see each other, they realized how that they are complementing each other. If they can work together, how great the pharmacy would be, because one is great in customer service and one is great in processes. So they both can, when they work together, they can do it. So sometimes this says that sometimes what happens is we keep on thinking about this, saying that the other person is not working, but we don't think about complementing each other. Like, that, okay, this person might be working this way, I'm working this way, let's complement each other. So again, one thing is always never think about that I'm the only one working, other person is not working. So that's important for us to realize that every time. Now here, when I say that mind your own business, that's where it comes from. So when you are doing something, don't worry about other people, what other people are doing. You do what is right for you, right? So when I say these 9 relationships, I want to give you an example of Ram Bhagwan. Ram Bhagwan has all these 9 relationships, right? So if you look at it, like the first one, Siuhu. What was the good person, the good-hearted person from Ram Bhagwan? It was Jatayu. You guys know Jatayu? Right? Do you guys know Jatayu? He was the one when Sita was being kidnapped by Ravan. He came and he was the one who was the bird. And then he flew when the Ravan was going in the flight. He came in the middle to save Sita, though he was Ravan killed him. But what happened is he was a well-wisher of Ram Bhagwan to save Sita, and that's where the well-wisher, the good-hearted people come in his life, right? So Ram Bhagwan, if you look at it, his life has Jatayu, who was very good-hearted. Then Mitra, in Mitra we will count as Sugriv. Like Sugriv is his friend in Ramayana, and they both help each other. But then in the friend, if you look at it, he has a real friendship. When Sugriv got distracted by other things, he actually came and told Sugriv that you got distracted. The friendship should be like that too, that you can go and tell your friend that you are wrong, make this right? Now a friend has to take it positively, like that's important. But if somebody is wrong, then you have that friendship should be that deep that you can say, yeah, I'm wrong, let me correct it. I'm sorry, let me correct it. Sometimes the ego, we take care of ego a lot and we don't take care of the friendship that much, right? Then the ego comes like, it's very easy to say sorry, but people don't say sorry, right? Because it's my ego, how will I go and say sorry to this person, right? But in Ram and Sugriv, when Ram Bhagwan told Sugriv that you were you did not do this right, Sugriv said sorry and came back and did his work right. So that friendship should be like this balanced one. Then then the enemy, we know that Ravan sent her and Dushan to fight Ram Bhagwan. So they fought with Ram Bhagwan. Now look at the relationship, how Ram Bhagwan is taking care of all the relationship. It's not that he is treating everybody in the same way. No, where there is an enemy, he's fighting that. When Ravan came in, he fought with the Ravan too. It was not that, oh, I have to treat him the same way as I'm treating Sugriv. That's not the case, right? Remember that part. But the compassion doesn't go away. Like if you look at Ravan, in Valmiki Ramayana, it has been said one time Ram Bhagwan sees Ravan being very tired. So Ram Bhagwan says, Ravan, you look tired. Can we stop the Yuddha right now and start again tomorrow morning? Can we do that? So that was the way how he looked at Ravan. Now, he did not look at Ravan as a enemy. How did he look at as a person? His habits, his behavior on some things were wrong. That doesn't make the person wrong. Now, this is a big thing I'm telling you, because when I used to hear this thing that hate the habit of a person, don't hate the person, right? I was like, how can you do that, right? I always kept on thinking, like, so I kept on thinking about it, that how can you hate the habit of a person but don't hate the person, right? So in this also, if you look at it, that's what they are teaching, that treat everybody the same, all like enemy, friends, everybody same way. So what does that mean? How can you hate somebody's habit but not the person? And it can be possible, I will tell you. Before, I used to never believe in this, but after I practiced it, it is possible. So what happens is, when you start that person has something that's not right, that's not, you don't like that thing, right? I don't like something about somebody. When you start thinking that person, it's not that all the things that he is doing is wrong. First of all, you have to clear that up. If one person is doing everything wrong, you stop talking to them or whatever you want to do. But there are some things good, some things bad. You need to balance that out first, right? And focus on all the good things. And then you can see about yourself also, how many things you have good and how many things you have bad too. And that person is also dealing with the same thing about you, right? So then what happens is, that minuses each other. And that's how I started thinking. Then what happens is, I don't like, I stop, I'm not, I cannot focus on the bad things about somebody anymore. As soon as I started thinking that way, right? So I started thinking about focusing on the good part of that person. Then what happens is that you don't hate a person at all. You don't dislike a person. Hate is a big word, but you stop disliking a person also. And that's you create with practicing. You don't dislike a person at all. Why? Because you start looking at their positive sides of it, more focusing on that side of it, right? So that's what I was saying. Now, if you look at Ram Bhagwan, Madhyastha was Vibhishan, right? Dvesh, we can say Ravan. Bandhu, there was, Lakshman and Bharat. You look at the Bandhu, the relationship of their relatives and everything. Sadhu, he met lot of sadhus in his life. There are so many examples. If I take the examples, we're gonna be like, we have to do another class. And then a papi means the unrighteous person. Bali was unrighteous person. Yes.
What was the name of the good-hearted person again?
Jatayu.
Chitayu.
Yeah. So seeing everybody with the sameness here is the compassion that we are talking about. Looking at everybody with compassion, that's important, right? So this yogi looks at everybody as compassion, with the same compassion, rather than looking at, this is my enemy, I have to do something bad to him, or this is my friend, I have to do something good for him. That doesn't make a difference to him, right? So he takes the compassion that he will give it to his friend, he will give it to his enemy too. That's the yogi who can meditate. Now what happens is, if we have animosity or anything that we hate, then what I was saying is, it stays in our mind, right? With that mind, you cannot meditate. When you have all those things, there is no chance that you can meditate. You have to throw that away. You have to, brush it off, then only you can meditate. So whatever we do, right, it's hard to meditate with the whole mind of thinking about somebody who we want to take revenge with, or somebody is so bad, or somebody, you cannot do that, right? So if you need a peaceful, then you have to forgive everybody and move on, right? What is the time? Did I take the whole class with that? Okay. So let's read the next shlok before we move on to. So this is the way yogi treats a human. Now, from 10th, he's going to talk about how to practice meditation. So far, we were discussing about, who should practice and what are the characteristics of this yogi. Now, how should we do it? That's going to start in shlok number 10th. So let's do one shlok and then we will close the class. Nanu, you want to read it?
What is the next one?
The 10th.
I'll read the 11th one.
Okay. Krish, can you read it?
Yogi yunjita satatam.
Yogi yunjita satatam.
Atmanam rahasi stitah.
Atmanam rahasi stita.
Ekaki yata chittatma.
Ekaki yata chittatma.
Nirashira parigraha.
Nirashira parigraha. All together. Yogi yujita satatam. Atmanam rahasi stita. Ekaki yata chittatma. Nirashira parigraha. Okay, it's very nice shlok. So yogi, again yogi is the meditator. Yunjit means keep. Satata means constant, right? Constant. Then Atman means self, right? Rahasi means solitude, right? Stita means remaining. Stita means establishing. So establishing it. Ekaki means alone. Yata chittatma means with the mind and body control. Yata chit matlab, chit is body, atma, mind and body in control. Nirashi means free from hope. And aparigraha means free from greed and hoarding. Hoarding, we do a lot of hoardings, right? So free from greed and hoarding. So the shlok means let the yogi try constantly keep the mind steady, remaining in solitude, alone, with the mind and body control, free from hope and greed. So now we will talk about how to do the meditation. So he's going to be explaining how we're going to start doing the meditation. So the yogi, keep constantly your mind in the what it is, the mind steady, right? Remaining in the solitude, right? Ekaki. Then the mind and body control, and then free from hope and greed, right? So these are the steps to do it, and I will explain you one at a time, so we can take meanings of each word and then see what does that mean. What is satata, what is constant mean in this shlok? Okay, let's close it. Is it done?
3 minutes.
Okay, let's do it. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kaunshachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Parmeshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay, thank you guys.